Hey, I'm Jim and I was retired. In this week's video, I return to the subject of Social Security and when to file for your benefits. In the past week, I've seen a few articles and social media messages that strike me as the wrong way to think about Social Security. Stay tuned. Now, the first wrong way to think about Social Security is one that I see a lot. I'm retired, and that equals Social Security. Now, I was retired at 59. Many people do retire earlier than 62. It is a separate decision from when to file for Social Security. Now, I did my research to decide to wait to 70. But a lot of people retire at 62 or 63 or 65 and think that means that they should file for Social Security then, rather than waiting for their full retirement age or until 70 for maximum benefits. A recent Gallup survey found that the average retirement age in the United States is actually 61. And it's been steadily climbing through the years. In the 1990s, the average retirement age was in the late 50s. In recent years, it's been holding around 61, up and down a little bit. Part of that has been the slow increase of the Social Security full retirement age from 65 to 66 to 67. So that is delaying some people's retirement. But many people are retiring before they file for Social Security. This Gallup survey showed from the 2022 data that there's a gap between the average retirement age, that lower number on the chart here, and the average expected retirement age, the higher number in the red there. This illustrates that most people find themselves retired before they expected. I know. I was retired at 59. But that's a separate decision from when to file for Social Security. I've shared this data before from the Social Security Administration. I got this data straight from the Social Security Administration. It's on this table 6-4A, number of awards and the average monthly benefit for retirees and disabled workers by sex, by age, 2022. And I pulled that data into my own spreadsheet to give you this pie chart. I took the data here, created a little table to make it easier to make this pie chart here. This is a breakdown of the initial awards for retirement benefits in 2022. It's the most recent data still available. And it shows that 27% filed at age 62. Note that 25% waited until age 66, presumably their full retirement age of 66 in a few months. Only 10% waited for 70. Now, note that the breakdown includes those over 70, but your benefits don't go up by waiting longer than 70. I've cited this group before, the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies. And again, they publish an annual study that looks at pre-retiree expectations and retiree realities. Now, in their survey, retirees retired at age 62, that was the median. 58% retired before the age of 65. Today's workers are expecting to work longer and retire at an older age. The median age there of the current workers thinking about retirement was 67. Age 50 plus workers expect to retire at age 67, and 2 in 3 workers, 66, expect to retire after age 65. 47% or don't plan to retire at all, 19%. The second wrong way to think about Social Security is that you have to file to get Medicare at 65. Premiums from Part B are deducted from Social Security benefits, so you have to file then to get them? That would be up to 2 years before your full retirement age. No joke. I saw this on social media recently. A couple was planning to start Medicare, and they were worried about remembering to write the checks each month since they were going to go traveling in their retirement. So they figured they would file for Social Security for its easy bill paying option. Note there are several ways to pay premiums for Medicare if you're not on Social Security. I use Easy Pay from my checking account. They don't need to send me a bill and I don't need to write a check. Here are the other ways to pay your Medicare premium bill if you're not yet on Social Security. You can pay online through your Medicare account. Just click the button. You could sign up for Medicare Easy Pay, and that's the automatic deductions from a savings or checking account. Now, you can use your bank's online bill payment system, but some banks charge a fee for that. Or you can mail your payments into Medicare. Signing up for Social Security early just to pay the bill automatically is the wrong way to think about Social Security. Hey, do note though, once you are on Social Security, your Part B premiums will be deducted from Social Security benefits. Medicare will stop taking it out of your checking account and start taking it as a deduction from your Social Security payment. Hey, before I get to my last wrong way to think about Social Security, please like and subscribe to this channel if you like entertaining ideas from a DIY retiree. I'm not selling a course, I'm simply sharing my perspectives to help you prepare for your own DIY retirement. Now, the third wrong way to think about Social Security is that you have to file as soon as you can because you might die. In fact, many people have a poor understanding of life expectancy, or as I like to think of it, longevity risk. The successful retirement is one that will last as long as you will. And if you don't understand how long that might be, you might be making the wrong decisions on Social Security. Now, an article in MarketWatch this week noted that one secret to retirement readiness may be knowing this simple fact. Do you know the life expectancy of a 65-year-old? If you have lived that long, the actuaries will tell you that the average male will live to 84, and the average 65-year-old woman will live to 87. Now, I'll put links to all these articles in the notes below, but the media often uses life expectancy from birth at 0, and it's in the upper 70s, and people are focused on that number. But if you've lived into your retirement, you need to think about your life expectancy starting then, how many years after. Now, I'll also remind you here that my Google Sites has an index of all the links that I've shared on my videos, so you can do your own due diligence. Let me just show you a little bit more of this article. Again, I printed this as a PDF and I'll scroll through it to the key parts that I want to show with you, and the link is below. Now here's a key section of it. Retirees with strong longevity literacy were more likely than others to report that their lifestyles met or exceeded their pre-retirement expectations, and they felt more confident that they will have enough to live on through retirement. But there's a big problem. Only 12% of U.S. adults in a recent survey here have a strong longevity literacy. 31% have a weak longevity literacy, according to the researchers at the TIAA Institute. Now, this is a survey of 3,503 adults, and they asked them, how long do you think that the average 65-year-old man or woman would live? Only 35% answered correctly, 10% overestimated, 31% underestimated, and 25% didn't know. And in the United States, what is the likelihood that a 65-year-old man or woman would live at least until age 90? Now, the true answer is 30% for men and 40% for women. And 32% got it correctly, 12% overestimated it, 29% underestimated, and 27% didn't know. And in the United States, what is the likelihood that a 65-year-old man or woman will not live past 70? And again, here, 46% got the answer correct. It's about 5 to 10% for a man and less than 5% for a woman. Now, why does longevity literacy matter? It's good to know the real longevity of a 65-year-old because that information can help you save appropriately for retirement. If you underestimate longevity, you're likely not to have a big enough nest egg to last your lifetime. Now, that MarketWatch article cited this TIAA Institute research, and I went to the press release, and it cited the vast majority of adults know little about how long people tend to live in retirement. And again, if you don't know that answer, you're not going to do a good job of planning your retirement. Now, I went to the full report of this TIAA research to read more. The report noted that the most striking demographic variations in longevity literacy involved men and women. While equal shares of men and women correctly answered the questions, 11 and 12% correctly, men more often demonstrated complete lack of understanding of the retirement planning horizon. 32% of men showed weak longevity literacy compared to 29% of women. And that is an important thing to keep in mind as you're talking about retirement plans. And a part of it is the terminology of longevity. And that's what leads to this understanding. Life expectancy is often cited in the media as from age 0. But here you need to study what is the life expectancy at age 65 because it changes. One of the best ways you can get a hold of your longevity is to do it for yourself. Estimate it for yourself, not just rely on the average. And there are several tools online where you can do this. Now, in an earlier video here on how much is enough, I showed you a couple different alternatives on how to think about longevity, including more detailed questions. But here's a simple one. And in this one, you can see that we're using birthdays close to my wife and I, our current ages, general average health, and don't smoke. And you can see here the probability of living to a certain age is shown here. And more importantly, you get down here to planning horizons and you start thinking about not only your individual longevity, but whether either of them are still alive or both of them are still alive. And with those time horizons, you can start planning accordingly. I also took time to watch this video on YouTube from Mr. Retirement with Jeremy Kell and his interview with David Blanchett. And this is pretty detailed. If you want to get into weeds about longevity and how it should factor into your retirement plan, watch this video. I will conclude with my standard warning. I am not a CPA or a financial planner. I have no initials after my name. So take these as entertaining ideas from one educated consumer to another. Always do your own due diligence and seek out a professional if you need one.